What's going on, everybody? It's been a long time. It's your boy Nick Magnet here.
And I'm Cherie Magnet.
And this is
Team
Magnet
Magnet
TV. Hi. So, again, it's been a while. I'm glad to see you guys again. Yes,
a lot has happened.
Yes, it has.
We got married. So we've been busy with, married stuff. So
I like how you said that, married stuff. Yeah. I guess there's no other way to describe married stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
Anyway.
we've been busy with that and traveling. So you haven't seen us in a while, but we're back and we got some exciting things going on. So
Yep. So let's talk about what our topic is. So we're gonna talk to you all about Luke Cage season 2. So what we want to go into is a recap of kind of what happened, our likes about it, what we didn't really like so much about it from the standpoint of just like watching a show and seeing what wasn't consistent, what didn't work, and whatnot. And then we'll just give you a rating and then a few wow moments, like things that we were like, oh wow, I can't believe that happened, that was cool, or shocking, or it didn't have to be cool, it can just be shocking. And we'll kind of let you see what you think and stuff like that. But
before we get started, if you have not seen season 2 of Luke Cage, just come back. Because we don't want to spoil nothing for you. Because we're going to give out a lot of information. And if you haven't seen it, we don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Yep.
So,
go watch something else.
Go watch
if you don't
it.
Want to see it.
Yep. Yeah. Go watch it and then come back.
If you haven't seen it, go watch something else. Go watch one of them other videos that we got.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Sounds good. And subscribe.
Yes, please do. Yeah. We're going to say it again just so y'all know.
Yeah, later on.
Just letting you know. Anyway, so basically, let's talk about what Luke Cage season 2 is about. So basically, as you know, Luke is Harlem's protector, and he had a ton of pressure on him to basically do good for Harlem because he loved it so much, and he basically was being burdened by everyone to be a protector, and he got a ton of publicity from it. I said publicity. What the heck was that?
That's all.
Publicity. Okay. He got a ton of publicity from that as well too. He dated Claire, obviously, from season 1. Claire, played by Rosario Dawson, who basically, in a way, convinced him that he should kind of like embrace it and capitalize on it. But it kind of started getting out of hand, and he started getting aggressive and brutal, and that kind of led him into a little bit more trouble. The villain, or as we call these people in most stories, antagonist of this season, was a character named Bushmaster. Why our mouths like form the same, like it formed like the same like look. Did you see that?
It did.
He was like why we look like that? So my mouth like really big. Anyway, so
I don't know why we did that.
Yeah,
we're weird.
Yeah,
we married each other, so that means we're even weirder. So
exactly. Anyway, so basically, Bushmaster wanted to get revenge on Mariah Stokes. Not Diller, Stokes. Because he said it like 8,000 times throughout the whole season. He corrected everybody.
Mariah Stokes.
He made sure to let everybody know that over and over again. I was like, dog, really? But he went. You silly.
Why you gotta keep saying that? Stokes.
It's just the way he kept. He was like so mad. Well, I mean, come on.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah. But anyway, let's not get off topic here. So basically, he was trying to go to any means possible to get what he wanted. He killed a lot of people. He killed Cockroach. He deserved it. He killed Piranha, and he killed many other people just to basically. Well, he was getting money, but really he wanted to get revenge.
Yeah. And
he felt that until Mariah was dead, he didn't get the ultimate revenge, and he owed his family, his Jamaican family, this I guess like deed for what they had done to him. And basically, Luke had bad luck between losing Claire when they got into a fight and getting his ass whooped by Bushmaster twice, having D-Dub's fake ass make a profit off of him because I can't stand that dude. Anyway, we'll talk about that Negro later. But basically, he made a profit off of him and him getting his ass whooped by Bushmaster, and him getting sued for his brutality to Cockroach and having to get money for Piranha in order to pay it off. Like Luke would just had it real
bad.
bad.
A lot going on.
Yeah,
poor Luke. Yeah. I was like, dang.
I was like, this dude
can't catch no break. He was getting hit by everybody. Yeah. Like, dang.
So basically, Mariah is still Mariah from season 1. She's still this megalomaniac. She's still evil. She's still this kind of strange gangster woman. She still has like, you know, that kind of hatred for Luke Cage still, just like she had in season 1. The new element though is that she now has a daughter. Her daughter's name is Tilda, and she's trying to build, I would say rebuild, but there never really was a relationship. Yeah. She's trying to build a relationship with her daughter. And then during this, she also still has a relationship with Shades. We see a lot of character development from Shades. And then there's Misty, who's trying to get her groove back with her now not having an arm after what happened with her and Bakuto and in Defenders. And also her being a detective, and she's also on the hunt to really understand herself, and has all these other side issues kind of going on, where she's trying to figure out what she's going to do, you know, with her life, and like where she wants to go with it. And at some point, Bushmaster gets Mariah and all of her money and all of her power and stuff like that. And then at some point, she gets it back as well too from him. And when she decides that, I guess like she wants to kind of seek revenge after he sucks, like was seeking revenge. Yeah, he goes. It's kind of weird. I don't know how to word that. Yeah. But basically, she goes to the little restaurant that all the Jamaicans were at, and kills like all of his people, and some were probably not even his people.
Right, they were just in there trying to get something to eat. Yeah, that food looked good.
It did. It did. That made me want some snapper fish.
Yeah, I think after that we kind of wanted some like some Jamaican food.
Remember we went to that one place that we went to Chezoga, but we was looking to go to
Jamaican Days to try to get some jerk chicken. To Jamaican Days.
These are places in Grand Rapids, Michigan. If you guys don't know.
Yeah, we were trying to go there. Yeah. And you know, after watching that show, I'm like, man, I want some Jamaican food. Like, you know,
I want some jerk chicken.
They had a little Jamaican music playing.
I want some patties after that too.
I was like, man, I want to make a Jamaican patty or something.
I'm like, you know, it probably smelled good in there.
You know, it did.
It had to smell good in there.
Like that, ain't gonna. That's a place to go eat.
Right.
It's a business.
Right. I know. I understand that. Now, I want some oxtail now.
That do sound good.
Yeah. Anyway,
okay, sorry.
So basically, while she was in the restaurant, she basically set his uncle on fire, and she felt like he wasn't dying soon enough, so she shot him while he was on fire.
Yeah,
like what kind of cruel person does that? Like it even disturbed Shades, because you could see on his face. He's like, what the hell are you doing? So like, I don't know. It's just like that's kind of like what she did. Like I guess to seek revenge after seeking revenge. It was kind of weird to, I guess, somehow let him know that she was the boss or whatever. I don't know what she was trying to do there. I know y'all saw that, but whatever. Anyway, so
we gotta stay in order, or else we'll be all over the place.
Yeah, like we have a little schedule. We
y'all
gotta stick to it.
How it was, how we was going on tangents.
Look, this is something you guys got to realize about us. We're very honest, okay? So we're not gonna sit here in front and say, oh, we memorized everything that we were gonna say as far as like how like it was gonna go in that order. We're gonna tell you what we think, but we're also gonna like, you know, you might see me flip this page just to see like what where we're at and stuff like that. So just a moment of realness, but let's get back to it.
Just being real.
So basically we found out that that Bushmaster has like these powers, and he's getting these powers from Tilda, which is the daughter of Mariah, her Nightshade, which is actually killing him but also giving him powers at the same time. It's kind of crazy because I think at a certain point his body started getting kind of like used to it, but it was still like kind of killing him off as well too. But he wanted more so that he'd be able to kind of do the deed of getting rid of Mariah. So Tilda's relationship with Mariah is obviously turbulent throughout the majority of this, if not all of this, because the thing is that she's trying to actually build a relationship with her mother, but it's very hard when her mother's obviously a monster.
Yeah, and she wasn't really being honest with her about everything either.
And she even finds out what Mariah does to Bushmaster, and that horrifies her.
Yeah.
And then she finds out about being unloved by her mother, and how her mother like tried to love her, quote unquote, but didn't really love her.
Right.
And then and she found out that she was an inbred child. Like the thing is that like had they not said, I would not have like known. Like that was crazy to me.
Yeah,
when I
it
found that
was.
out.
I was
But,
just like, what?
I was like, wow, okay. So anyway, she eventually gives him this ultimate combination of Nightshade towards the end, to try in order for him to take out Mariah, because she finds out about what a monster that Mariah was and what she had done to Bushmaster's family. So she agrees to help him, and basically Luke and Misty and Shades try to stop him.
And I'm like, y'all just let her die.
Just because all of y'all have an issue with her at that point.
Nobody likes her.
So I didn't know.
It's time for her to go.
Yeah.
This is the perfect opportunity. Why are you trying to save her? They're like, oh no, and Misty. I'm like, Misty, what are you doing? You can't stand her either.
See, the problem is that everybody, like, I think everybody would assume that had Luke and them let Bushmaster kill Mariah, that considering what happened at the end, that Luke would not get or would not inherit the stuff that Mariah had. That, I think that might have been everybody's assumption, but I would argue that Bushmaster probably would have gave him a piece to it because of the fact that he helped him. Because remember, he was like, we could have been brethren. He said that all throughout the whole. Did he not say that? He said that all throughout the whole the whole season. So I mean, it's not like he really had a beef with Luke for real.
He didn't have anything against Luke at all.
He was the only antagonist.
It's only the fact that Luke was getting in his way for Mariah, because Luke kept trying to like save Mariah, which I'm like, why? She wouldn't save you.
He was the only antagonist I've ever seen that was an antagonist that didn't have a beef with the protagonist.
No,
he had no
nothing.
beef.
He had nothing against Luke at all.
If anything, he wanted to work with him.
He did.
And then so basically
take her out together.
Right. But again, that I think that's a good thing about this show, is that it's not very like black and white. Like there's a lot of like kind of like gray areas with the characters and things. So anyway, moving forward, basically Mariah ends up getting arrested because Shades like dimes her out and by turning himself in with like a little deal and all the other stuff. But again, that's not really important right now. He realizes that she's a monster, and he realizes that she has to go down. I think one of those like central points that he figured that out is when she burned my mans and shot him, like because he wasn't burning fast enough. He even said
like there's rules to this, like
there's rules to the game.
And she was like doing the most, and he was just like, no, I'm not rocking with this no more. Like, you're doing the most.
Yeah, and with that information, Misty is able to give Mariah with a legitimate charge. While in jail, Mariah is actually killed by a deadly Nightshade kiss. I think it's Nightshade. I'm going to say Nightshade in quotations. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, it was something that
I don't know what the hell she used.
Tilda was like mixing up. I know it's like, I think it said like Baso or something like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. I don't know what it was.
That's why I said Nightshade in quotations.
Yeah,
actually.
I don't know what it was, but I was like, dang.
And she gave her the kiss from Tilda. Like she got the kiss from Tilda, and then like that, killed her. And basically, she had previously changed her will. So basically, originally, I think like Tilda was probably going to inherit whatever like she had she died, but she changed it so that her greatest enemy, Luke Cage, ended up inheriting her throne and everything that she had, with the exception of a damn piano. Ain't that messed up?
That's so she gave the piano to Tilda.
Yep, and Tilda was pissed about that.
I mean, I'll be mad too. Yeah, like, seriously.
Yep. So basically, at the end, Luke accepts the throne.
Yeah.
Tilda is obviously very upset, and it teases that he will go dark, and obviously that she went dark, and and I know that sounded kind of weird, but basically, obviously Tilda is mad, and there's been many teases at this point that she's going to be this character from the Marvel comic series called Dr. Nightshade. I mean, it's not like really a secret, and he does this after D-Dub's fake ass, and we're going to talk about this Negro again. Decides that he's going to kick him out of the only place he actually had to sleep in, which was the barbershop.
Right.
And it's just ridiculous. But anyway, so that's pretty much what happened, start to finish. At the end of it is teased that Luke is going to be dealing with situations from the perspective of having like the throne of everything that Mariah had like in Harlem, because she wanted somebody who loved Harlem as much as her. So which was Luke.
Which makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how that went. Let's talk about some things that we liked. So, Sheree Magda, you want to start with the first thing that we thought was good?
I would definitely say Shades, like his character development was like amazing.
Yeah.
Because you got a chance to really see Shades in a different type of light that you never really seen him in before. And it was like really cool to see him like transition into this character. And then you got to the point you were like,
I'm about my head.
Huh?
I was bobbing my head.
I don't know. You got to see the fact that he was like even going against like Mariah at a certain point. He's like, man, this chick is over here like she tripping. Like, what is she doing? And you got a chance to kind of see that he wasn't as bad as you thought he was. And even with the stuff that happened with like Comanche, how he really like had like genuine love like for him, and he looked at him like as a brother and stuff like that. And he was really hurting. It was really tearing him up, the fact that, you know, he basically like had to kill him because he was a snitch.
Yeah.
So you could just see how it was just developing. And even like, I think he had went to the barbershop and asked like Luke for like help too, if I remember correctly. He had went up in there and was like, look, I ain't even gonna front, I don't like you, but you the only one that can really like stop this. So,
well, here's the thing, I'll be honest, like in the first season I wasn't really a fan of Shade's character because he really didn't have much of a character.
No,
I think that they did a justice by showing development with his one relationship with Comanche, his relationship and his technically romantic relationship with him, which would surprise me.
Yeah, it surprised me too.
Yeah,
I didn't. I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah,
so...
and it's been confirmed. The actor who plays Comanche actually talked about it on the Breakfast Club interview, and he was speaking about how it was subtle, you know, but like there was a prison kind of relationship with them, and then that was actually talked about in episode 6 in that barbershop scene when Comanche and Shades were actually, you know, having a conversation. But, you know, it showed a lot of character development because it shows that although like Shades is this like, you know, this thug, he actually like follows a certain like code of ethics versus Mariah, who obviously like just has don't care. Yeah, she just doesn't care. She's a monster, and he knew it. And I think that that's kind of what made him this anti-hero per se of like this season that we actually kind of enjoyed versus last season where he was kind of flat, you know.
Yeah,
he was kind of like a stoic character at that point. And he was just a dude who was just, you know, carrying out missions and stuff like that. And you were like, who's this guy? And this season you actually kind of understand him a little bit more.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to bring me to what my second point is here for the things that we liked. And for me, that's Alfre Woodward's acting and how she portrayed the character of Mariah.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, I would say in the second part of the second season, I think she was much, much better. But I would say in general, I think she did a good job. And then the thing is that I think that she did a good job because she made me hate her. She made me feel like she was like the scum of the earth. Like she was so horrible. She wasn't deserving of any empathy or sympathy for what happened to her, what happened between her and the uncle. And I still believe she actually wanted it, like Cottonmouth said.
I still believe it too.
To me, like, I mean, like, that tells me that the actress did her job well enough. Like, some people believe that, you know, she almost felt like she was in a different element than the other characters while she was acting. But to me, I felt like she was just doing a good job and she sounded authentic. Like when she bust like a bunch of M-bombs, like, you know, to me that sounded authentic. With when she called Bushmaster a bush nigga, I was laughing. I was like, wow, like she really just said that. Yeah, like I was laughing because I mean it did sound organic. It sounded like something that's one of like our people probably would say. That's what it sounded like. I thought that was kind of funny.
I was just like, wow, yeah. I definitely agree because she made me hate her, and even like her relationship with Tilda, like it really made me mad. Because I was just like, you are just being so insensitive on how to, like, her world just basically crashed in front of her. Like, you basically tell her that her daddy ain't her daddy. Her daddy is really her uncle. And basically you tell her that you don't love her. You try to love her, but you just don't love her. You don't care about her or nothing. And it's like, seriously? This is supposed to be your child. Like, there was, like, no motherly, like, love, no nothing.
Yep.
And she didn't even care about Tilda. And I'm just like, why even bring Tilda in the picture if you didn't even want to build a relationship with her at all? Like, I don't understand.
I don't know how he got out the cage.
It's my dog.
Yeah. Anyway.
But, yeah, like, I just feel like with that, like, it kind of was just like, dang, like, this, I really don't like you. Like, and I really love, like, that I really love her as an actress. Like, I think she's phenomenal. But she really made me hate her. I was just like, I don't like you. Mm-hmm. And then, like, even, like, the whole, like, it's just, like, everything that she was doing, like, burning up people, killing, like, everybody that was helping her. Like, even old dude that was,
I don't even think she was sorry for none of it, too.
She wasn't. Yeah. Even the one dude that was, like, I guess, like, Shades was sitting there, like, I forgot what his name was. He was basically, like, what was his name?
What are you talking about?
The one that Tilda got mad that she killed. Remember, he tried to come to Tilda. He came to Tilda in her shop or something like that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And
yeah,
he was basically like trying to ask her for help because I guess like she was like,
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
House, cleaning up everybody. Like the attorney had told her when she was in jail.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why would you kill him? Like, he was like one dude that was definitely down. Like, he was not gonna sit there and snitch about nothing that happened. Mm-hmm. So I just was like, she was on some other stuff. But
that's what made you like the characters because she made not like the character. I hated the character.
I hated her as a character.
But you like the actress and what she did because you hated the character.
Yes.
Because really, to be honest, it's not like she, I hated every villain that I've seen. I like Kingpin. I thought Kingpin was an awesome villain.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Killmonger and Black Panther was an awesome villain.
And he made sense.
I even somewhat kind of like Kilgrave and Jessica Jones. But I do not like Mariah. Stokes. I do not like Mariah Stokes. But anyway, so okay, so you want to tell them what the next point is that we didn't like?
That we did like?
Did like. I'm tripping. That we did
Bushmaster as a villain.
Mm-hmm. Or an antagonist.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was like phenomenal. First of all, like I feel like he first of all it made everything that how he felt it made sense. Mm-hmm. It went with the storyline. It made sense why he hated Mariah Stokes and the whole Stokes family. Like after everything that they had did, to his family. I like the fact that they like showed like him as a little boy and the things that he saw with his family. And it was just like really made you feel bad for him because it was like, dang, like his family was killed by these people.
Yeah.
And all he wanted was what was owed to him for his family. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing just made sense. It was like, okay, that makes sense on why he's upset. And this dude was a beast. I'm like, he was going toe to toe with Luke. Like Luke won nothing. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, dang,
he gave him that hot capo era. He did he not? He was spinning around, kicking them and stuff. I was like, dang.
And this ain't no like little dude. Like this dude is probably like almost like probably like at the height of Luke, right? Because Luke is pretty. They gotta be like 6 foot.
They were like similar in height.
They were like similar in height. I'm like, this dude over here doing like what was that one game? It's like a breakdancing game, and the dude be kicking his feet around and beating people down. I don't know what it was. About? I don't know.
What you talking about? Like 100 games came in my head.
It was like a dance type game.
I was thinking Bust the Groove.
I think it might have been Bust the Groove.
I was thinking of Bust the Groove. I was thinking of Dance Revolution.
But that's what he was looking like. Yeah. Like he was kicking, like he was going on the floor. I'm looking like, what?
Right. Yeah. He gave him the hot capo era. I told you. And then when
he was getting shot, the bull's just in the. I'm like, okay, he's getting shot, but this dude's still walking. Like, how is this happening? Like,
yeah, like he has similar powers to Luke almost. They were similar.
Yeah. But it was like, well, Luke, they like bounce off. Like they don't even touch him. They was like, they was stuck on him, and he's still walking. Like,
yeah. Well, see, here's the thing I liked about Bushmaster is, like, he wasn't really, like, your classic villain. He was really a villain only by association or by technicality, really. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I liked about him is because you could reason with him. You could understand his motivation. You could understand, like, why he didn't like Mariah. You could understand, like, even when he was, doing what he could to basically get the revenge that he wanted. He was almost like a sympathetic type of like villain, like a tragic type of villain is what I would call it.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because he wasn't necessarily motivated by wanting to do evil, which is why it showed that he actually even was willing to create a friendship with Luke. Mm-hmm. Many times even he actually made it clear to say, look, I just want Mariah. Misty can go. Luke can go. I don't care.
Want these other
he doesn't.
People.
He was really not. He was only really an antagonist and a villain by association, and that's what I like by him. I think that I don't necessarily like him as much as Cottonmouth personally, but I did really like him. Mm-hmm. I thought that he had some like the fighting scenes were awesome. I liked, you know, kind of like the personality. His personality had like a lot of like flair and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. And I think that like personally, for what it's worth, I think that you know, like he gave Luke a lot of trouble as well too. And I think that that's kind of what makes for like a good villain still. And like I said, for sakes of him being an antagonist, I thought it was like really good what he was doing. So I enjoyed him as a character. So yep. So let's talk about the next thing that we liked. Misty's character development was really good.
Oh yeah.
And here's the thing about Misty's character development. In season 1, Misty, by the way, I'm sorry, Simone Missick is beautiful. Like, come on, you gotta admit it too. Is she not beautiful? Like she's really attractive. Come on.
She's beautiful.
Exactly. I know you're not giving me that look. You was talking about Comanche earlier.
Okay, this
exactly. Yeah. Nope. I just got nope.
I didn't know he looked like that until I seen the video. I was like, oh hi.
He wasn't saying hi back. Anyway.
How you know?
Anyway,
he ain't seen me, so he could say hi.
Anyway.
So as I was saying, what you just said about Misty.
You agree she was pretty. Anyway, so
Comanche's a nice looking guy though.
I mean, he's a handsome dude. I mean, he's handsome. Yeah. Anyway, so as I was saying, though, let me stop talking about her looks. So the character was the character was kind of annoying in season 1. Let's be honest. Like,
she was.
She was always.
I was just like, why are you doing? She was doing the most.
She was always like bothering Luke over and over again.
Yeah.
It was so her character was frustrating and annoying.
Yeah.
But they gave her more development, and I think the best thing. I mean, unfortunately, the best thing that could have happened was her arm getting like cut off like that by Bakuto, because what it did was it added a couple different like elements to her character and her really like feeling all the power that she had. Because remember, it was her right arm. And her right arm was the one that she was using for everything that she did. Like, as far as fighting, that was her punching arm. As far as playing basketball, that was her basketball arm. That was her writing arm. So that's what... That was kind of like her central arm that was her go-to, really. And it was gone. So it was like killing a lifeline. So that really, like, hurt her in everything that she actually found joy in. Like, between, like I said, being a detective, being a basketball player, and everything. And, the thing about that was she was trying, you know, her best to kind of still, you know, function, and everybody was dropping hella jokes on her with that arm.
Need a hand.
I was cracking up.
That's just so disrespectful, though. Like,
it was disrespectful,
like,
though.
Why y'all doing all of that? Like, knowing what this woman is going through.
Right.
Like,
they was dropping hella jokes on her with her arm. I was like, y'all are y'all serious?
That's why I was glad when they had that scene where she was like showing like, look, I'm missing an arm. I don't need your pity. Blah blah. Right. Kind of something. No, like, you know, chill out with all of that stuff. Like, I'm trying to do my damn job.
Right.
Ain't nobody got time for all that extra stuff. So it was just like
they was busting hella arm jokes.
Yeah, it was just like
it. Well, the thing is that like she wanted to basically she wanted to kind of like figure out how to kind of make do on her own, which is why it seemed like she was trying to avoid like the kind of help of Danny Rand and Colleen, because I mean Colleen was even like featured in this season of Luke Cage a couple different times, and it was because of the fact that she was trying to help Misty, because they were sparring with the whole boxing thing, and then they were at the bar together and stuff like that. And I mean, I think I kind of like the tease too between like them possibly teasing a show with like Colleen and Misty and people like that. There was like a comic like series as well too that had them in there. I think it was called Sisters of the Dragon or something like that, or something like that.
Okay.
It was something like that. If any of you all are watching this video and you know the real name, I'm gonna have to research it again. Feel free to correct me and say, hey, it was this. Yeah. I don't actually remember. But anyway, so basically, like, I thought that was pretty cool that they're adding that element of friendship between the two of their characters. I like the fact that you know, she actually was not really annoying in season 2. Yeah, she was helpful to Luke. She might have been one of the only people actually that did help Luke.
She was the only one that really had his back.
Like one of the only ones, if anything. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. And it just seemed like she always like was kind of like on it, this season. Whereas last season she was totally missing the mark. She was always chasing Luke, but Luke wasn't the threat. I mean, you had Cottonmouth, you had Diamondback, you had all these other threats out there, and she was steady, like just worried about Luke.
Yeah.
So I mean, I kind of liked her for the fact that her character had so much development, and it really just teased like, is the life that she used to live while she had that other arm for her now that she doesn't have it, and now that she's getting used to this bionic arm that she ended up getting, the surgery for from Danny Rand. So there was that element to it as well.
I think it was cool. I seen like a clip of a little video, and it was actually talking about like her character and like Tilda's character as well. And I think it was really cool because it really showed, they were talking about like different things about like women and how women are always like, always trying to like be strong and things like that. And it was really good to see like Misty like going through something as if that was okay to go through that, like her losing her arm, like how it had like such like an impact on her, and we've seen that character development through the season. And I think that was like really powerful, and it made it very interesting, especially as a Black woman. Like a lot of times we're put in perspective, we have to be strong. We can't really show our emotions because that shows that we're weak and things like that. So I think it was cool to see that in a show like that, where it showed Misty like going through different things that she was going through, and be like, look, I'm gonna fight through this regardless. I'm gonna keep doing what I have to do. And even in the bar scene, when Colleen was looking at her like, what she about to do now? Oh, dude's talking stuff. What she gonna do now? And then she started like using whatever she could to like beat this dude down. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
She was a hell of a fighter too.
Yes, and she was a beast. And I was like, that's what's up. And I think that was really powerful to see that, and to see her pain, and to see her going through the different things, trying to write with like I'm right-handed, so I couldn't imagine something happening to my right hand.
Yeah.
Because that's something, I drive with my right hand, I write with my right hand, like I do everything with my right hand. So like I felt that pain, because I'm like, you have to do everything with your left now. And I know it's even when they were showing her writing, she was having trouble writing with her left hand, like just trying to like make that transition. Like that was just really cool to really see that, and to see her being like this powerful woman and getting through that. So I think that was awesome. Like the writers, I did a great job with that. So
yeah. So so you want to tell them what the next one is? That
I can see.
The next is storyline.
Oh, the storyline.
Yeah.
I couldn't see it from here.
It's all good.
Storyline was very consistent, which was really good because it was easy to follow. So it was like, okay, like everything made sense. It was something like, oh, well, why is this happening? Like, why is that happening? So I think that was really good, that the storyline made sense. It was consistent. Like everything that was happening, you understood why it was happening. So it was kind of like, that was good. So.
Well, see, the thing about the story, the reason why this is a like for us is you got to compare it to last season. Last season, the consistency was not there. The reason why the consistency was not there was because season 1 was great in the beginning, and it was great all the way to episode, I don't know, what's it, 7?
Whenever they got rid of Cottonmouth. Then it went downhill.
Well, because like Diamondback was not really a relatable villain. Nobody liked him. He didn't make sense. He wasn't dynamic. He didn't make you feel fear. He didn't make you feel the strength. You didn't really, to be honest, you kind of found him annoying, and you knew that Luke was going to get rid of him at some point. The way they portrayed that character was awful, but the way they portrayed Cottonmouth obviously was great. And then all the other characters, I think last season as Luke Cage, he was the best actor. How you say his name? Marshalis Ali? Is that how you say it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, he who played Cottonmouth, he really played a good role with Cottonmouth. He was able to transition like that villain character, like that tragic villain character, into like almost like an anti-hero who got killed off at the last minute, and we were like, oh man, come on.
As soon as you start understanding like what was going on with him,
you already were liking him.
You already liked him, and then you're just like, so you're
really
gonna kill him?
Yeah.
And then bring this other dude that don't make no sense, that has this vendetta against Luke for no reason, ain't even Luke's fault.
It didn't make any sense to me.
So that's what we mean by the storyline. This is more consistent. Well, it made sense.
Yeah,
it made you understand. It was like a reasoning behind, and I'm glad they kept the villain till the end.
Well, like
as well.
that was one
good.
thing.
Yeah,
that was one thing, but it was more so like you understood every single like thing that everybody was going through. You knew that that Luke was having a struggle between like, you know, being Harlem's defender and then like also being himself, you know, without losing himself. You knew that Misty was struggling with the whole arm thing and how it just crushed her entire world.
right.
You knew about Shades and the whole Comanche thing and the thing with like Mariah and there being rules. Then Mariah and her relationship with Tilda, like everything
going on with Tilda, like everybody,
everything was very clear cut.
Everything made sense,
and everything like transitioned into everything else perfectly. Or I wouldn't say perfectly. I would say it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there were flaws here and there, but I mean, overall, I think that it transitioned well enough that you understood the story. You liked the story. It didn't feel too heavy. It didn't feel too light and basic and lazy. I thought it was a pretty good transition there. Okay. So that was another thing that was good. Another thing that we're going to say here that's good is Luke's actual character development. With the thing about Luke Cage is in the first season, he basically was immaculate.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was just a guy who was bulletproof, who understood that he was bulletproof, and was in Harlem, and Harlem was discovering him. It was the start of them discovering who Luke Cage was.
Right.
So it was good for him to respect that everybody kind of had his back because he was new. You know what I mean? Like everybody like saw this bulletproof man who was going around and being Harlem's defender, and everybody was on his side and things like that. So with him, like he really basically couldn't do any wrong. And even with the Cottonmouth situation, I don't remember him messing up at all during that.
No.
And then during the thing with Diamondback, I mean, really, Diamondback was just such an awful villain in general. I mean, like there was nothing Luke could do wrong really that made us feel like, I can't stand him. I mean, to be honest, like. If anything, like he was getting the other characters told, like, you know, throughout like that season, but it was like this season it was different because he was having this big internal struggle. As I said before in my last comment, he had the struggle with, you know, realizing that he was, you know, people knew him as Harlem's defender,
right.
But it was a lot of responsibility because every single person depended on him, But and was putting so much burden and pressure on him, but at the same time, like he also was trying to not lose himself and become too aggressive, and there were times where he was letting himself become aggressive, so there was that inconsistency with trying to struggle with being a hero but also trying to be an abnormal man, and that was like I think like a big struggle, so it made his character have like a lot more development because of that. He didn't seem like he was just this immaculate dude who just couldn't be beat by anything. It seemed like all these other forces of nature outside of that were really kind of tearing him apart.
And then you also seen like him going through like all of this stuff, and it felt like Luke was like taking like so many L's like this season. I kind of felt bad for him at times, but then I kind of felt like I was like, dang, Luke, like you like it's kind of like wishy-washy a little bit because woman is like this, woman is like I feel like he was trying to like find himself a lot, and it really like showed okay, like at the end of the day, yeah, Luke is like really strong, and you know he's Harlem's defender and whatnot, but Luke is also like a human being, and he is trying to you know go through all this stuff on his own. He doesn't really have anybody like in his corner for real. So it's kind of just like, I mean, he had Misty who was there, like kind of had his back, but it was kind of just like he was going through a lot. And it was cool to kind of like see him like, you know, transitioning to this and trying to like figure things out on his own. But also try to be like this, like be Luke Cage the man and be Luke Cage the hero at the same time. It seemed like he was like, you know, trying to fight between those two, trying to figure out like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing here? What's the right thing to do? I have to protect people, but I don't want to protect this person because I can't stand Mariah, but I have to protect her because I'm a hero. But my man side is like, I don't want to protect her. So it's kind of just like you could see him like kind of like battling that through the whole like season. And I think that was kind of cool to kind of like see him.
By the way, support breast cancer awareness.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's a bird breast cancer.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry.
Yep.
I didn't even remember. I was like, oh. Right. But yeah, but I think that was really cool to kind of like see him like develop more as a character and then put him in this like, oh, he's immaculate type light. It's kind of like, oh, no, he has flaws. Because, you know, every like hero and every pretty much show, they always make mistakes. And Luke made a lot of mistakes in this season. But then he had a lot of like people like not really having his back and telling him that he has to do A, B, C, and D, and they don't like the way that he does stuff, but they don't really help him to do it. I was like, what? Mm-hmm. So I mean, he had a lot of things going on. So I think it was cool to kind of see him going through stuff to see like, okay, Luke, yeah, he's this hero, but he's not a perfect hero, and no hero is really perfect. So I think it was kind of cool to kind of see that. So
yep. Last thing that we agreed was actually good was Danny's little comeback.
Yes. Danny came up in there with all the sauce, just like, "What's up, Luke?" I'm looking like, who is that? Like, who is?
Like he was a new person, although you saw Iron Fist.
I didn't even know. Like person. When he first walked up in there, I was looking like, who is that? And then I was like
he was like Paul Walker Jr.
I said that too. I said he looked like Paul Walker Jr. coming up in there like. I was like, oh. He's like, yeah, what up? He up in Harlem thinking he all that. I was like, okay, Danny, like, look at you coming up in here. So, and I mean, even like the little fight scene that they had was really cool too. I really like their like fight scene that they had. I like the fact that Danny came there and Danny had like Luke's back and told him like, hey, I really came back because of Claire. Stinking self. Anyway, we're gonna get to that in a little bit about Claire.
Well, the biggest thing about Danny is like everybody like gave him so much criticism like during the whole Iron Fist thing.
Yeah.
And this is what I'll say. I think that you got to look at it like this. The actor who played Matt Murdock in Daredevil, he had 2 months to prepare for all of his action roles. And then you have Finn Jones, who played Iron Fist, like in the Iron Fist series, and he had like less than a week to be able to learn all this fighting moves. So I think the comfortability is one thing that could have been an issue, like not just with his fighting, but with the acting in general. So I think a lot of people had issues with that, and I give him the benefit of the doubt because of that. I mean, that's why if you look at Daredevil, especially in Defenders, all his moves look clean. His moves look clean as hell. But then you look at like Iron Fist, and he looked like he was doing a little damage here and there, but he felt like, sometimes it was a little bit more awkward. But I think the thing that made it so bad was he's the Iron Fist, so you assume that he should be pretty much a fighting god because he's supposed to be one of the best fighters in the Marvel comic universe. So I think that this was quite a change because instead of him being kind of uptight and a lot of people felt that he was whiny, he was very cool and laid back, and he was very collected the entire time, and everything that he said like really made sense. And even Luke even pointed out, there's something different about you. And I feel like to a certain extent the writers were kind of like, we see that everybody was talking crap about Danny, so let's kind of make him a little bit more cool so people like him. And then like they kind of threw that in there in Luke Cage to say that. I feel like they might not have happened, but I feel like it might have happened. Just
the way
everything was. He was so cool.
Just the way he walked, like even his walk looked different. I'm like, who is this?
He just had like a different vibe about him. And like I think, and I think he even kind of addressed it. He said he was kind of like trying to vibe with his like inner chi and things like that. So he kind of like really understood himself a little bit better. So he was more calm with being the Iron Fist, and he wasn't so like jumpy and uptight about everything all the time. So it didn't really come off like he was more likable basically.
Yeah, he
and
was.
I think for that it'll make Iron Fist season 2 a little bit better. But my point is that Danny's appearance did buff the show.
I agree. I think it definitely agree. And it was really cool to see Danny and like coming up in there and
because him and Luke are best friends, even in him and Power Man.
And then come up in there and like and help Luke like with what he was going through, because really Luke didn't really have nobody really there for him for real besides Misty, because Claire had left him.
Right.
So he didn't really have anybody. And then like old dude that was at the barbershop, he ended up leaving because he had to go check on, I think it was his daughter or something like that. So he had to leave. So it's kind of just like Luke didn't really have nobody for real. I mean, basically Luke was homeless.
Right.
So it's kind of just like, so I think it was really cool to like see that and to have him there. I think that was really cool, and the whole fight scene was cool too.
Right.
So
I agree.
So
real quick, let's throw out some wow moments.
Okay.
You want to give your wow moment?
Oh, I have quite a few. Okay, so
keep it simple.
My wow. We're gonna do wow moments, then we're gonna do dislikes.
Yep.
Okay. So my wow moments would be when Tilda had kissed her mama, and it was supposed to be like this poisonous type kiss thing, and I'm like, oh, what the heck? And first of all, I was already kind of weird. Like, so I'm like, why is she kissing her on the lips? Like,
yeah, it's kind of weird.
It was kind of
like,
weird.
Who kisses their mama?
I don't
like
kiss
that?
my mama on the lips, but whatever. So I was like, okay, whatever. Maybe that's something you do. But then like afterwards, when Luke
like Tommy on Power.
When Luke, yeah, that is weird.
Yeah.
So and then afterwards, like when Luke had came up in there, and then like she started like coughing up blood, and then all of a sudden, like you seen like the little recap, and Tilda's over there going like this and stirring. You like she was like all mad about. I was like, oh dang, she really did poison her mama. Like what? So that was one for me that I was just like, what the heck? And then another one I would say, and I'm gonna let you say your other two. I might have some more, but we'll see. Another one I would say was when Mariah Stokes went up in there and went up in like the little Jamaican restaurant and like killed everybody and then set like the uncle on fire and then shot him as he on fire. I'm just like, what? Like, and she just over. I'm just like, what? And then the old girl that was working for her before was like, Miss Dill. She's like, it's Stokes. I'm like, oh. Well, she just killed her. Like, oh my gosh. Like, so that was like, I was just like, they just killed everybody up in the shop. Everybody first of all, they probably came up in there trying to get something to eat. Like, dang, I'm trying to get some Jamaican food. Like, for real?
Right.
So that's my two for now. But those was like,
yeah.
All right, babe.
I think like one of mine's for sure was that finding out about that relationship with Comanche and Shades. Like,
yeah.
The reason why that was a wild moment, at least for me, is because like if you blink, you missed it. Like,
yes.
Like the thing is that like they weren't even trying to kind of throw in this like homosexual aspect of it. They were just trying to kind of show this link and this bond between two people who were just so fond of each other because of the bond and the relationship that they built. Because there was actually, if you missed it, and I think I said this earlier, like if you missed it in the show, there was a relationship between Shades and Comanche, specifically in prison, that they had like this actual relationship. And in the barbershop scene, they discussed it there, and they were talking about how there's we got to try to be something more than what we were outside of this like gangster life and stuff like that. And Comanche had made a comment. He said something to the effect of if you remember, we were like that. If you think about when he said that, what he really was referring to was the actual relationship, like the romantic relationship that the two of them actually had. And so that's why like that love was there, because like they really had true love for each other, like on a romantic level, but still on a like a best friend type of level. The reason why it was a wild moment, because I was like, at first it was hard to process. Like at first I was like, I get that they're best friends, but why is this such a dramatic like point that he's killing his best friend? Is it because it's just his best friend, or is there something more?
Yeah.
Then when I went back and I thought about it, I'm like, oh, because they actually had a relationship, so Comanche truly knew him. And even like that little gay shot that Mariah had throughout there,
because I remember that too.
It made me remember that.
Yeah, because I remember I remember we both looked kind of like, wait, what?
Yeah, that was like a true wow moment for me, because I was like, whoa, like I didn't even realize that that's what made it so dramatic, for the both of them, and even for like Shades, who basically was saying like, my love for you was maybe blinded to who you really are. And I was like, wow, like this sounds really poetic, and this quite climatic for like it being your best friend. But then I realized he loved him.
Yeah, because I was thinking it's more like a brother type thing.
Well, it was, but
it was a little bit deeper than that too. So I'm thinking like, oh man, like he's really hurt. Like even when like he was like burning his clothes and stuff, like on the top of the rooftop, like you could kind of see like how he was like reminiscing about everything that went down. And I'm just like,
yeah, that was, to me, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was definitely another wild moment. Would you get another one?
Yeah, the other wild moment was when Mariah gave Luke the throne.
Yes.
Like that was a wild moment to me. Well, here's the thing. It was a wild moment in the respect that my prediction actually came true. So in other words, it didn't surprise me. It just wowed me that it came true. Like, it was obvious that she was going to give it to Lucas, because like she hated him so much, but she hated him because in a way they had a similarity in the fact that they both loved Harlem, but they handled Harlem so differently.
Yeah.
And I think that you got to realize too, ironically, he was the only one who actually had Mariah's back 100% of the time.
And she said it like at
And she
least
even
like
said
2 or
it.
3 times
Like,
through the season.
that he was her worst enemy, and he was the only one who had her back. And she even said, "You are the only man that I can truly trust."
Yep.
So when she said that, we're sitting there looking like, what the hell you mean
Like, what
by
you
that? Like, he
talking
want to kill you. He hates your ass.
Right.
So, like, why the hell would he, be somebody you can trust? But when you think about it, ironically, he always did save her.
Yeah, he did.
So to me, that was just, I think that was a wow moment in the fact that I figured that that would make the most sense, and it actually came true. It came to be. Mm-hmm. So that I think that's what I would say. So
that's all we got for that, then.
Yep.
So on to the dislikes. Nick Madden.
So, and I did that pointing so really, really fast before I actually said so. It was kind of weird. Anyway,
that was kind of
so basically, this constant nag at altruism is the first thing that I think was kind of like a bad thing. Like, they constantly wanted to pour down our throat how important it was for Luke to save everybody. Everybody's coming up to Luke saying, "You gotta save this person, Luke. You gotta save this person, Luke. You gotta stay true to yourself, Luke." That was the most annoying crap, I think, about the series, or one of the most annoying things.
One of them.
Because, like, to me, like, it almost seemed like it was always this whole mode of Luke saying, "I have to do good for Harlem," or like him saying basically that he has to save Mariah from Bushmaster just for the sake of saving her, because that's just not the way that we do things.
Right.
It was just nagging and annoying and frustrating, and
I'm so tired of it. I was just like, why?
Yeah. So
that, and then the daddy. Oh my gosh, you gotta talk to your daddy. You gotta talk to your daddy.
Oh my god, that was so annoying.
Like, that's easier said than done. I mean, think about their relationship. Mm-hmm. I mean, first of all, Luke had went to prison for a crime that he didn't commit, and his daddy did not believe him. His mama was the only one that really believed him and was there for him. Then his daddy gonna basically sit there and blame Luke for his mom dying, and said that he did the crime and didn't have his bag in prison or when he got out. And you gonna just say, "Oh, talk to your daddy. Oh, you talk to your daddy."
Claire was shoving that down his throat, and Piranha, and all these other fools.
Everybody was pushing down his throat, and I'm just like, he needs to do that on his own time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, think about it. If you put yourself in Luke's shoes, if that was you, you're going to sit back, "I got to talk to my daddy right now." Like, no, you don't want to talk to him after what he did. I mean, they finally did talk, but it was on Luke's terms, which it should have been. You can't force somebody to talk to somebody. Like, just because you want them to talk to him. Like, that don't work that way. And that was irritating because everybody kept telling him to talk to his daddy.
Yeah. That brings me to the second point, too, is that Luke was getting thrown around the ringer by everyone. It seemed like everybody was down his throat. First, Claire was mad at him because he punched a wall. Because here's the truth of the situation. Claire was not wrong during the argument, and Luke truly was not listening.
No, he was not.
But I will say this. She was pressing a red button. She was pressing a red button because Luke said he didn't want to talk about the dad thing. And she just kept saying, "Press, press, 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 press." Then he got mad and he punched the wall. Again, no excuse.
Luke shouldn't have punched the wall.
No excuse.
Because at that point, he scared her.
He scared her. But my point was that was like a never-ending chain of things happening. First, the thing with Claire happened. Then Wishmaster whooped his ass out of nowhere. Then D-Dub's fake ass. Let me just talk about this dude for a second, okay? Let me just talk about him. Okay. I cannot stand this guy. Like, he is the true definition of F-boy. He is the true. You know what I mean when I say F-boy. Like, first of all, you call Luke your friend. You call him your boy. You take a video of him getting his ass whooped. You put it out to everybody. You make T-shirts off of this crap. And then you sit there and then you want to basically say, "Well, Luke, I mean, I got to make money."
But
and
this
then,
is my...
And then, wait. And then, wait. Let me go on my rant about him. Wait a minute.
Okay.
So then the other thing I did not like about him was this. Then, like, Luke is still sitting there, still trying to, still be cool and cordial and all this other stuff with him. And he's still going to the barbershop. I mean, obviously, because he's sleeping in the damn barbershop.
He had nowhere else to go.
Yeah, nowhere else to go. And then, towards the end, and I'll talk about this a little bit more when we get to our last point. But, and then he's like, basically, he finds out that Luke is about to like hook up with what's my man's name, the bouncer guy,
Sugar.
Yeah, Sugar.
Uh-huh.
And like they're about to like do things their way in Harlem, like a new way to like try to like save everybody. And he was like, Luke, man, don't go down this path, man. And then like he's like, I gotta do what I gotta do. And he's like, well, if you're gonna do stuff like that, you can't kick it here no more. I'm like, peace, dude. Like, you were the worst friend ever. You were not a good friend.
No.
Like, I really wanted to reach through the TV and punch this dude in the face. Like, you were the fakest person I have ever seen. Like, who is that fake? Like,
that was so wrong.
Like I really wanted to just punch this dude in the face. Like, next season, I hope they kill him. I hope they kill him. I do. Why is he there? Blow up the barbershop. I'm okay with them blowing up the barbershop for the sake of him being gone. Let him be in the barbershop when they blow it up. Please let him be in the barbershop. Good grief. Anyway, I just needed to talk about that fool for a second, okay? And why I couldn't stand him. He was.
Well, to go back off of that, I do feel like D-Dub was fake as I don't know what. And the thing about it is, he was making a profit off of Luke, but didn't give Luke none of that profit.
No.
You knew Luke was homeless. You knew he was staying in the barbershop. You took his only place that he was living at. Now, mind you, you've been out there making a profit, doing all type of stuff or whatever, and didn't give Luke nothing. And the one place that he has to actually call home, you said you can't stay here no more, Luke. You gotta go.
But see, that's hypocritical. And here's why that's hypocritical. Because he did what he had to do to make his money. But then he wanted to tell Luke what was cool and what was not cool with the way that he was handling Harlem. Mind you, he don't even have powers.
No. But then I'm going to sit there and get mad at Luke, talk about Luke, you need to go do something. My girl was scared at the party, man. She was scared at the party when they was doing all that stuff with the drugs, man. You got to do something about these drugs, Luke. And it's like, okay, Luke,
you're such an asshole. I wanted to punch him.
Luke's trying to do some stuff now, and you over here, you still ain't happy. You ain't give him none of that profit. You talk about, oh yeah, I'm about to use stuff I got for the profit and put it in the barbershop. Okay, but you ain't gonna give Luke none of this money that you used to profit off of him. This dude, and then on top of that, your boy Luke got his butt whooped by Bushmaster twice, and you didn't even try to help him. If he made a profit off of that, you basically recorded him getting his butt whooped in front of everybody. Not everybody done seen the fact that he done got his butt whooped. You trying to call yourself a friend, and you even have his back.
Next season, they just need to take a can of gasoline, pour it down his throat, and light a match. Let it go in. Let him explode from the inside. I can't stand that dude. I want him gone next season.
I was just so irritated.
I want them gone and him to not feel anything.
But then look though, this made me so mad. Before Luke even knew that Mariah gave him anything, this dude was already homeless. He didn't even have a barbershop no more. Because think about it, when the attorney came up and he said, oh, we can't talk about this stuff. We got to talk about it later on somewhere else. He said, all right, cool. At that point, Luke was homeless. All he had was his bag.
Yeah.
That's all he had. So then why would he say, you know what, Mariah giving me all this stuff, why would I not take it? He didn't have nowhere to go. Claire done left him. He was staying with Claire. Claire done left him. The barbershop is gone now. Where he gonna go?
Remember,
he ain't got no job
and he got
sued.
No money. He got sued. And then he was getting exploited by Piranha. And then he was getting chased again by Bushmaster.
And then he get his money from Piranha from doing that little deed that he was doing.
Well, he wasn't getting chased by Bushmaster. Bushmaster was trying to find Piranha, and he was trying to.
Remember, Piranha was gonna pay him.
Yeah.
Remember, but Piranha ended up dying.
Yep.
So he didn't even get that money. So Luke didn't have. Why would he say?
He did all that basically for nothing because Cockroach ended up dying too. So that case was just out the door.
So it's like, okay, what was Luke supposed to do at that point? You took everything from him.
That dude was being thrown through the ringer. That was the point of that one. But, yeah. Let's go to the third point before we get more mad. Luke wishy-washiness was.
Oh my gosh, that was so irritating. 1 minute he's. Oh, I ain't saving Mariah. I'm gonna let them go ahead and fight each other. Next minute, I'm saving Mariah. I'm like, Luke, just let her die. I was so irritated. I was like, Luke, nobody wants Mariah around anyways. Just let Bushmaster just kill her.
Mm-hmm.
It would be so easy for you could just sit back. He said, I'm just gonna let Bushmaster kill you.
And then here he is trying to stop Bushmaster.
And then here go Mariah. You gonna save me? And she was right, cause he did. I was like. I'm like, Luke. 1 minute he's saying this, and even
Luke
Misty,
is a simp.
Even Misty called. She's like, didn't we already talk about this, Luke? Like, what do you? What are you talking about? We already talked about we had a plan of what we're gonna do. You keep going back on our plan. Misty even called him out on it multiple times.
Right. It just didn't make any sense.
She's like, well, Misty, we have to do this. Is she looking at him like, Luke, what?
Well, I think it was annoying for the sakes of, like, they were not just because, like, you're a person watching the show and you see that this character is wishy-washy. It was annoying for the fact that it annoyed us as an audience because, you know, it was 1 minute he was being like the god of Harlem, and the next minute he was talking about how he was just gonna do things his way and how he was just gonna run through there and just do whatever he wanted. So it was like, I mean, in a way it was good because we saw the character development of Luke, but in a way it was bad because it annoyed us to see that, you know, he was jumping here, there, here, there, here, there.
It was like every 5 seconds.
It wasn't.
It
wasn't like he made a decision, like a complete decision of who he was towards the end, which is what it should have came down to him coming to a conclusion of how he's going to make up his mind. Yeah. But it seemed like he was always wishy-washy, like in every decision that he was making, and that was what made it so annoying. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the next point. Claire.
Oh, Claire.
Honestly, look. I'm gonna just say this. Just bring Jessica back. Jessica was my favorite Luke Cage woman.
Jessica was the only one that really had Luke's back.
She's she had the best chemistry with him. They made Luke Cage's show based off the fact of how great of chemistry Mike Coulter had with Kristen Ritter. That's the reason why they even made the show.
This is my thing, Claire. You made me mad. You made me real mad.
She didn't come back.
First of all, Claire. I don't like the fact that you didn't have Luke's back. First of all, you knew after y'all argument. Okay, I'm looking right at you. Knew after the argument, Claire, that Luke got his butt whooped by Bushmaster. You seen it on the video. I know you seen the video. I know you seen it.
Remember, she went back to her roots.
Going back to your roots. Okay, you could have called Luke and say, Luke, are you okay? Are you alive? After getting your butt whooped. As a matter of fact, you should have been concerned the fact that some dude that we never seen before done came and laid Luke down on the floor. Because Luke was so all caught up thinking about you because y'all got into an argument.
And then you had Danny as a damn messenger.
And then you gonna send Danny as a messenger to check on Luke after Luke done got his butt whooped twice, almost died.
That's what made me mad. That's the part that made me mad.
And the fact that if Danny wouldn't have said anything, Luke wouldn't even have known that you had sent Danny to come check on him. You could have called him. If you didn't want to say you didn't want to go see Luke. Okay, fine. But the fact of the matter is you didn't even call and say, Luke, honey, are you okay? Are you alive? Because Luke almost died after that last fight that he had Bushmaster, because Bushmaster threw him off of the bridge. So Luke almost died. You didn't even check on him. Then on top of that, you want to come back at the end of the season, at the last episode, and gonna sit there and no, I'm mad. I am so mad. How dare you? Like, what kind of woman does that? You supposed to be there for your man. You gonna sit there just let him get his butt whooped in one night, and how you gonna come back after he done got all high and mighty, and now he got him a club, he got money and everything. You wanna come back to the club night? Also, you like, oh, I'm here. Go home. Just go home.
That was the best line that's one of the best lines of the show. Tell Claire to go home.
Just tell her go home.
That was I had an adrenaline rush watching that. I honestly did. Because, I will say this is my disclaimer. I did hear a rumor that Rosario Dawson was no longer going to be doing the Claire thing for, like, the series. Now, I don't know how true that is. Again, I heard that she was no longer going to be reprising her role as Claire, like, in the series going forward. So I think that was a way to kind of, like, write her off by the two of them getting into a fight.
Don't come back for Luke. Don't come back.
But I don't want her to come back. Nope. I don't. It's kind of like the you know, I can almost feel as irritated about her almost as I do about the whole, like, Olicity thing. I hate Felicity more, but we'll talk about that in another video. But
Claire, just go home.
Personally, I don't want her to come back because she was not there for him. She ran out on him when he needed her. Well, she didn't come back. I will say that because she ran out with just cause. But I feel like she didn't come back and knowing all the stuff that happened to him. Because really, it'd be one thing if it's like, look, I need some space for a week, a couple weeks, whatever. And what made it even more worse, I almost said even more worse. What kind of anyway, it made it even worse because of the fact that like she didn't break up with him either, so she was just in limbo, not saying nothing.
Not saying nothing. And he even tried to like reach out to her to fix, because he was trying to give her space, like be respectful, give her space, because they had that argument. But then it's like, okay, are y'all together? Are y'all not together? Like, and then she just kind of just left him,
I
knowing what had happened. I mean, I get you upset, and I get he scared you, but this dude almost died.
Mm-hmm.
He almost lost his life. First of all, and then he almost lost his father on top of that, because they came for his father. They almost killed his father, but they didn't.
Who you whined about during the argument.
Who you whined about was the whole reason you was starting an argument, because you wanted him to talk to his daddy. But this dude got his butt whooped right after he left your apartment. And you didn't even think to check on him to say, hey, I know I'm upset with you right now, but I want to make sure you're alive and you're okay. Because clearly this Bushmaster dude must be powerful, because he was able to go toe-to-toe with Luke and knock him down. So clearly you should be scared right now.
I know a lot of people are like Claire fans just because of like her kind of like down to earth personality, but for me that just killed it.
It killed it all.
Like first.
And then she didn't come back.
The fact that
like,
she didn't
at all.
Yeah, I just did not. I
was just like,
I was like Team Luke and Jessica. That was me. Team Luke and Jessica. Like that's where I was at, because like really that was like my favorite couple between them two. Like I felt like they had such good on-screen chemistry.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Even when they put Luke with other females, I like him with Claire, but I didn't like it the way I liked him and Jessica. Yeah. Never will.
And now I really don't like it.
And it's crazy. As much as I liked him with with Claire, like every time I watched him with Claire, I always kept saying to myself, why isn't he with Jessica again? Like, are they trying to like hold it off so that we miss it? And then y'all tease it during Defenders that like there may be something still there. Even Danny even kind of was telling Luke, yo, like, you sure you're not still feeling Jessica? Anyway, my point is this, like, I am Team Luke and Jessica, and if I wasn't Team Luke and Jessica before, I definitely am now. And seeing that, I was like, man, like Claire, because she can.
I know if Jessica would have known, Jessica would have at least called.
That to me, that was just bogus.
It was just wrong.
That was just bogus.
Because I'm like, okay, regardless of how mad you are, Claire, the fact of the matter is this is supposed to be your man. It's supposed to be somebody who you love and you care about. And he was wrong for punching the wall, and I get he scared you. But at the end of the day, you should be scared that some dude knocked Luke down. Mm-hmm. You're a doctor. You've worked on Luke. You know what Luke is. You don't even know what this Bushmaster dude was. And you should be scared of the fact that he knocked Luke down. Yeah. Like, how did he even do that? And you ain't even check on Luke.
Right.
And it's just like, seriously? Like, he was going through all of this stuff, and you knew it. And you didn't even call and check on him and say, hey, you okay? Nothing. Right.
So let's go to the last point that just didn't really make sense. We didn't really like. The tease about Luke going dark because he had the Empire. It was dramatic, but it was awkward at the same time.
I agree.
To me, that was the only thing that seemed a little bit like inconsistent and weird. Like they almost threw it in there just for the fact of they needed a way to make it seem like, you know, there was going to be some tension for next season. Luke ends up gets, you know, the inheritance from Mariah, and then he accepts it. Then right after that, you know, there's a thing with D-Dub's fake ass, and somehow they're trying to make it seem like he's like this dramatic force of good that says, Luke, don't do this, man. And then Misty's like, you don't have to accept it. Then everybody is down his throat, basically saying that he's going down a weird path. But here's my thing. I mean, if it's all about being real, and basically it is, you know, like this kind of it is what it is concept that they've been kind of playing with what's been happening to Luke, then what's wrong with what he's doing? That's my question. Because you got to look at it like this. Claire basically left him.
Yep.
Bushmaster beat his ass.
Yep.
He got sued. He got exploited. And then all this other crazy stuff happened. He's homeless. And he had all this other stuff happen to him. Misty was not going to let him crash at her crib. D-Dub was a jackass who exploited him and then wanted to kick him out because he didn't like his path. So all this stuff happened to him. And my problem is this: why is everybody so concerned about him having a dark path when
They weren't concerned about everything he was
when
going through.
they weren't concerned about everything he was going through? That, to me, like, I feel like the writers kind of did an irritatingly, I guess, awkward job of making that last part dramatic, but then not making it understandable. Like, as far as like we can really relate with that. Well, we can relate with it, but it's still, it's like kind of frustrating because it's like they made it so dramatic. Like, what he was doing was just so awful.
Yeah.
But my thing is, if he's homeless and this fool, like, I'm not even gonna get started on him again, but this fool just kicked him out of the barbershop that he was laying his head at. You know what I'm saying?
Like, what else was he supposed to really do?
Misty didn't give him no place to
Like,
stay, and she had her 2 cents in talking about some, you don't have to accept. And I'm like, well, shoot, I couldn't accept an offer from you because it's not like you allowed me to stay at your crib when I kind of subliminally left my book bag there for you to offer.
You like, don't leave this here, Luke. You gotta go.
So at the time, that's fine.
At the time, it was kind of funny because I'm like, because really he had a place to go to, which was the barber shop. But then once he lost the barber shop,
my thing is that's fine, but keep your comments.
But I'm saying like once, okay, that made sense when Misty said that then about the bag because he had the barber shop to go to crash there, so he had somewhere to go. Once he got kicked out of the barber shop and she made her comment, I didn't get it because it's like,
I was like, keep your comment.
Where else was he really supposed to go? This dude ain't got no job. His job is protecting Harlem. He ain't really making no money off of this. He's doing this stuff for free. He ain't getting no profit for real. He don't got no damn car. He don't have no damn job. He's not bringing in no money for real. He don't have a place to live. He don't really have clothes for real.
And it's not like he has support
system. And like
system
he's
either.
really eating. I think the only time I really seen this dude eat for real, which we really didn't see him eat, was when his daddy took him out to eat.
And we don't even know if his daddy paid. We don't know what happened.
I'm pretty sure he paid because Luke ain't got no damn money.
That's true. Luke ain't got none. You right.
So I'm pretty sure Luke's daddy paid for him to eat. That's the first time we really seen like him eat. We didn't even see him eat though. We know he went to go get something to eat. So really, this dude ain't eating. He really ain't sleeping. He's sleeping in a chair, not even a bed. And you gonna sit here and Misty get upset because he accepted? What's he supposed to do?
To me, the dramatic effect of it made me frustrating. The fact that everybody's like, oh, he's going dark. How the hell is he going dark? How the hell is that dark?
Because he's handling business? Because he had to have conversations with people that he didn't want to have conversations with in order to protect Harlem or to keep Harlem underneath this safe net. He had to talk to an old girl that was really feeling him, wanted to have some coffee with him. Coffee.
Right.
Had to talk to these other people, try to like, organize stuff so that way that Harlem's protected. I'm like, why y'all still gonna sit here and complain about it? And ain't nobody trying to help him protect Harlem. He has to do it on his own. Him and Sugar. Yeah.
I ain't get that.
So I'm like, how y'all gonna sit here and get upset? He had to have a conversation with people so he could handle everything with Harlem to protect it. Because remember, Harlem was going all crazy and haywire because everybody was over there killing people for no reason. But then you want to get mad when he handles stuff and there's no.
It's like killings. It got worse, like when Mariah left.
Yes, it's weird. It got worse.
Yeah. It make no sense, but
so I'm like, he's handling things like he's supposed to be doing.
Excuse me, but yeah. So those are our dislikes. So let's kind of give our final rating. So this season of Luke Cage season 2 was an 8.2 out of 10. So it's about a B. The reason why we gave this an 8.2 out of 10 is because if you look at it, they had a lot of like good elements to it. For example, the storyline was consistent. The characters all had something where the development was good. They all had their own situations that were unique and kind of made the story flow in a way where you understood it and things like that. And it really kind of added a new element to it that basically, to me, it fixed some of the problems from season 1 while still keeping a few of them. Yeah. And that brings me to what the few issues were that I had. I think that there was just I almost feel like this is more of a writing issue than it is an issue with like the actual characters in that show and the concept itself. But the thing I just didn't like was like this constant push for doing right, and it's like it's a gray area show, and they're constantly pushing this idea to do right, and like these annoying little things, like everybody pushing Luke Cage about his daddy, or everybody pushing Luke Cage, or everybody throwing him through the ringer, and all
and
this
not
other
trying
stuff.
to help him for real.
And then at the end trying to like make it so dramatic, like he's going dark, but really like it's kind of weird because how I really don't understand how that's dark given everything that's going on.
Exactly.
To me that part of it is frustrating, and that's why I kind of knocked it down some points, because I think that constant reminder every episode, it was like, oh my God, would you stop?
Yeah.
I shouldn't be doing that. It's one thing if it's like I'm mad at a character because they did something really evil. It's one thing if I'm mad about that. But I was mad because they're pushing something that's just frustrating. Why should I be mad about them pushing let us do good? Why am I mad about that? Because it's annoying, not because it's so bad that I'm mad. It's because it's like it's pushed so much it's annoying. So I would say 8.2 out of 10 because it was a great show. It was a great this season, and overall I did really enjoy it.
I agree. And Luke, I feel like too was another like the reason why the rating was because Luke was too wishy-washy. Like every 5 seconds he was changing his mind about something. I just was like, Luke, like if you gonna stick to something, just stick to it. Just say this is okay, you're gonna do things your way. Okay, well define what your way is. Because your way seems to be this way. Then at the minute, like or 5 minutes or whatever, you're changing to something else. It's like just be consistent with what you're choosing. It's okay, like you choosing whatever you're gonna choose, but don't go back and forth so much to the point you don't even know what you're doing at the time. So it's just like, and then Claire, that was just why?
Again, I think they was trying to write Rosario Dawson off, but
that may be it. But
I really didn't.
I'm like, she could have at least did a phone call or something.
The way I see it, I mean, I guess that was the way that they were going to write her off again. I mean,
I guess they wanted us to hate her before she left.
The sooner the better that they can put them back with Jessica. That's how I see it. But anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed the show that we had today and what we had to say. I'm glad that, we got to talk to you all and tell you all about like some of the stuff that we've been doing here. Right. We're going to have more videos to come, so continue to check it out. And then again, do not leave without hitting this subscribe button. Please subscribe when you get off this video.
And go see Luke Cage.
And please go see Luke Cage
if you haven't seen already. Go see it.
Shoot, I mean, if you watch this video, then technically you know what happened. But
true, but we said before, like, if you haven't seen it, see it. I mean, if you
true, but they won't see this part then.
Well, I guess
if that's the case, because they probably
Luke Cage was a really good.
It was
show,
good though. Yeah,
so
yeah.
Let us know what you guys think. Comments below and stuff like that.
Right, and this was Nick Magnet
and Cherie Magnet,
and this was Team Magnet
TV.
Yeah. See y'all
Bye,
later.
guys.
Peace. They didn't even see that, did they?
I don't know.
Okay. Y'all saw it. Peace.